Howdy, howdy. Welcome back to another episode of We Talk Sports, presented by WeTV. I'm the host, as usual, Dom Siani, and join me today are, of course, my co-host, Jacob Pendergraph, and Owen Fleming. Welcome, guys, to another second to last episode of We Talk Sports. I know, well, getting close to the end now.
I don't know how I'm going to handle it.
I don't know either.
Well, we'll make it together. But today's episode will be focused on the NFL Draft. This past weekend was the 2026 NFL Draft, and yeah, a lot of excitement around it.
A lot of excitement around it.
So much excitement.
Yeah, I
so
know.
much excitement.
Yeah.
No, I mean, one team had higher picks than others, but ultimately still a good
I
draft.
think we won the draft.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that when we get to that. But we're gonna actually just start off by going over, I guess pick by pick, but not doing a full analysis for some of these picks because some of them are just like, yeah,
Like just the first round?
just the
or-
first
okay,
round. Then we'll talk
okay.
about our teams and what we thought they did well
Okay.
in the draft. So I guess we'll start off with the number one overall pick.
Mhm.
I don't know why you're eating the desk. It's not edible.
The dash.
Um,
We need that still.
but the first pick, Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana.
Raiders.
To the Raiders, yep.
Yeah.
To the Raiders right there.
Yeah.
I thought the pick pretty good pick.
Oh, he's
Oh,
eating the
he's
Raiders
eating the
now.
Raiders, thank
Sad
you.
day
You
for
want
Dom's father.
Well, yeah,
Sorry, Mr. Siani.
he's fine. I think he's pretty happy right now.
Yeah.
I think with Fernando Mendoza, they
Mhm.
got their guy in the future.
And they got Jeremy McCoy.
And you got Kirko Chains in
Kirko
the QB room.
Chainz.
Kirko
You like
Chains
that,
and
Dom?
Mendoza.
That's Kirko Tucci.
That's
You
quite.
like
that's
that?
quite the QB room.
That's quite the QB
That is
room, you
kind of
know.
a QB room.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be very
As
interesting.
someone who drafted Mendoza in Dynasty yesterday, I've always said I'm a #1 Mendoza fan, and he's going to be an All-Pro. You know?
I think the game that really sold me on Mendoza
Mhm.
during the college football season last year was the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
That game was gritty, you know, there's not a whole lot of scoring, but Mendoza made those clutch throws that ultimately led them to winning the Big Ten. And of course, we can't forget about the national championship game, the toughness, the
He
grit.
puts his body on the line for his team.
Literally.
Literally, you know,
NFL coaches are going to be freaking out.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Tom Brady's going to be like, this is a great guy.
Yeah, I think so. I think the
It's great,
Raiders.
man.
I think we all agree that the Raiders, made the obvious pick here. Everybody knew it was going to be Mendoza.
And they've just been in QB purgatory for so long.
Really have. I mean,
Ever
they've had,
since
like,
they got rid
what?
of Card, they haven't had
They
a
had
quarterback.
First, they had Jimmy Garoppolo, who was cut after 1 year.
Brian Hoyer for a game.
They had
AOC.
AOC, Hayden O'Connell.
O'Connell.
Yeah, had him in fantasy for a bit.
Josh
you know,
Johnson
you want to
for a
know
little
something
bit,
bad?
you know?
What's
I
bad?
traded Sam Darnold in Dynasty for Aiden O'Connell,
Oh,
and
of
then he went on to be good again.
Pretty good. No, yeah. You
Yeah.
might have a.
That was tough, but ultimately I think this was the right pick for the Raiders. I think it could show dividends in the future, but probably gonna have to wait a year to see it happen.
I think so. They're probably going to give it time. I wouldn't be surprised if Mendoza does start a little bit this year. However, I think it's going to be Kirk Cousins for a good majority of this year. I don't think.
that. You like that.
I like that.
I-
You like that.
I did. No,
I
I
liked it.
enjoyed the pick. Yeah.
Good.
But yeah, we'll see what that does for the Raiders. But moving on to speaking of a kind of poverty team, the New York Jets.
Ha ha ha.
Jets and Saints.
Even though the Saints had a decent
I was supposed to say
draft.
Saints might be out of that tier. It might be
But
whoever.
yeah,
It's bad.
I mean the Jets took David Bailey, and it was an interesting pick. But it's mostly like, what's gonna fix the Jets?
A lot.
Is this enough?
They need a lot,
They
and that's
need-
why they traded in for 3 first-round
Yep,
picks.
they did.
Because
did.
they are very much so Aaron Glenn in win now mode.
He's
Well,
in
he's
win
at the
now
very-
or get kicked out.
I think he's
mode.
in more like improvement mode because I
gotta
don't
save
think
my job.
I don't think the Jets are going to be a playoff team.
Well, no, listen. He said that Geno Smith would take them to the promised land.
the
The
promise,
promised land of a new head coach and
the
a new,
promised land of
owning
unemployment
group.
for Aaron Glenn, I guess, right?
Yeah, you know, retirement maybe.
Unfortunately, I think the ownership will be staying the same with the
Yeah,
Jets for a
the
while.
Jets aren't gonna do
Yeah,
anything
they're
without
just
that.
gonna be.
But David Bailey, pretty
Yeah.
good player. I think that should help with the pass
Such a
rush.
shame he has to go to the Jets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, we're
good
going
luck,
to say a lot
David.
about these players. They're going to go to play for a team that's not going to really do anything, and unfortunately, I don't know where the Jets are going to be in like 5 years. Honestly,
Probably
where they are right
4
now,
and 12, you know.
probably stay the same. You know, probably new coach, same ownership, new quarterback. So yeah, but no, David Bailey, pretty good player there. You know, one of the I think the best, could be the best edge in the class. There is a lot of good edge players here, but I think a lot of people, especially with Glenn's scheme, could be an impact for them, especially that defense. So But moving on to the third overall pick, Jeremiah Love goes to the Cardinals.
I didn't see the Cardinals reaching that far up for him.
I didn't really think they needed Love.
I didn't think they did either, but I mean, maybe they were going with the classic draft strategy of draft the best player available.
Yeah, I think he was a top player on their board, and
Yeah.
ultimately, I just think they couldn't find maybe anyone to trade down and give them what they wanted to move up for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
I mean, for this does a lot for the Cardinals, but the question is that quarterback position. And obviously, I think this year we're going to see
Carson Beck,
is
baby!
Carson, is Carson
Yeah.
Beck the true answer if he does get the start, if he does get starts this season. However, I'm more of like you need to build now, and while Love can be an intriguing option for whoever they get next year, I don't know.
Tank for Arch.
It reminds me of that meme with the performance like sports car and like the
Oh
the
yeah, next
kind
to
of
like the
shabby
crappy
garage,
like
you know?
Yeah.
yeah,
I know, yeah, like
That's
the
what his
Yeah,
pick
you know,
reminds
you got
me
a
of. You
weapon
got a
like
Ferrari
Love.
now. You just got to put a garage around it.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
of
you
similar
need to
quality.
get something for it, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't think it'll be this
Yeah.
year for the Cards. But you know, a nice weapon
Still
there.
a great player. I would have drafted him. He was in.
Well,
4.
yeah, I would taken him. That would have
Yeah.
been like a
Yeah.
that's a I wouldn't say generational, but that's a
He's a really
almost
good player.
superstar
Yeah.
running back.
Yeah, we'll just have
Um,
to see how it goes.
I think the first, not surprise, but a little bit of like a,
Mhm.
the
Interesting.
Interesting.
Carnell Tate to the Titans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I was really hoping he'd fall to Washington.
You get a receiver.
Yeah, and if he fell out of the first round, I was hoping we could get him in the third, but I knew that wasn't happening. He's a good receiver. He's a great weapon for the Titans, and obviously they're building around Cam Ward. Questionable, but you know it'll work.
Yeah.
I don't think that taking him at 4 was the best use of that draft pick.
I think whenever Jeremiah Love went to the Cardinals, it kind of changed because I really think they wanted to get a solid running back that can go for how many years.
They need a new Tony Pollard.
They need something there that isn't Tony Pollard, and I think Love would have been that. But Carnell Tate, not a bad pickup either.
Pretty solid.
Number one
I
receiver.
felt like he was maybe just a little early, but
Yeah, but it's also just they need help for Cam Ward.
yeah.
You have to have some. If they saw the Panthers draft Tet McMillan and Bryce instantly like bump up a level.
Yeah.
So I think they were going off a similar motive of getting the stud young receiver to hopefully pair with your quarterback for the next decade. We'll
Absolutely.
just have to see if it pays off that way.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing about quarterbacks when developing them is getting the right receivers around them.
And better than old Calvin Ridley and
Yeah, that's-
whoever else is in
That's
that
been the
room.
biggest issue with these young quarterbacks, and I think that's the reason why the Raiders are going to wait for Mendoza because they don't really have that dominant receiver. They have Brock Bowers, but they kind of still need that wide receiver one,
Yeah.
and they need to probably find it next year.
Yeah, which that was something I did think the Raiders would find some more receiver help, but the draft didn't really play out that way.
Not really. I don't think it was incredibly deep, and plus I think their needs were less about winning now and more about building the team.
Yeah.
But moving on to the first Ohio State defensive man, Averell Reese, going to the Giants,
I thought that
5th
was a
overall.
pretty good pick.
I thought so too.
That's one of the best players on the board. Getting him at 5. Giants, they also just need some help. You know,
Yeah.
it's a new era for them with Harbaugh taking over as CEO, kind of head coach. But Reese is a great player. He can be all over the field. It is going to be interesting to see how they line up with their other linebackers and edge rushers, just because they already have Burns, they already got
Yeah.
Thibodeau, they got a lot of players, and I'll be interested to see if any of them get moved in the future. But overall, a pretty great pick, I'd say.
Good pick. No, I think Reese does a good job fitting into that Giants defense that needs help there. I was kind of seeing parallels of the Giants this year to 4 years ago in the 2022 draft. Them taking defense, and obviously later on taking an offensive tackle. We'll talk about that later. But it feels like a Harbaugh pick, getting a linebacker and also, I guess, a sort of edge player too. So important for the Giants to establish that, and can't go wrong with it. I think the Giants did a good job here.
Yeah.
But moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs, trading up to get Sonny, or no, it's not Sonny
Mansour
Star.
Delane.
Mansour Delane from LSU, DB, the first DB off the board.
And it made sense.
It made sense.
They really needed a corner.
They desperately needed a
They
corner.
traded McDuffie. It's
Moss Watson,
Watson.
both to the Rams actually.
Yeah.
So they needed this. I think Delane can be that sort of game-changing corner, the best DB on the board. And knowing how like the Chiefs develop cornerbacks, that's a kind of a good company
I
there.
just thought it was interesting that they traded up to get him. You know,
Yeah,
there's a
I
guess
chance
they
he
were
could have been there at their regular pick. but
paranoid with-
maybe they heard something that we didn't. You know,
I guess they're paranoid with the Commanders. So
Yeah, I could
You
have
coulda taken
seen.
the
Commanders
cornerback.
or Saints too.
Yeah,
Since they jumped up 2 spots just to get him.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that's still a good pick. Trade, that'll be determined on how well
to see.
Delane plays. So yeah. But moving on to your Commanders, Jacob, I think you like this pick.
I love this pick. I love Sonny Styles at 7. So frankly, I'm surprised the Giants didn't take him. I'm surprised he fell as far as he did, but by God, am I glad that he fell. He's just a freak. I don't know what they're putting in his drinking water. He's brought to be the most drug-tested player in the league, but he's just a freak of nature. He is like prime Calvin Ridley. He's got a massive high jump. He's just explosive. He reads the game really well. He is like the culmination of Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, and Megatron.
Average Commanders fan when they don't have to watch Bobby Wagner play linebacker anymore. Thank you, thank you, Lord.
Thank you.
Yep.
But honestly,
you.
it fits in because now we have probably the youngest and most aggressive linebacker room in the league.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
your coverage is going to be a lot better.
It's
A
gonna
lot
be a
better
lot
than what it was. You won't be getting burnt by
Yeah.
some of those.
Uncle Wagner, we love
Teams.
you. Thank you for
And no
everything
more
you did
Lattimore.
for us. No more chain snatching Sean. No
Yeah.
more Marshawn Lattimore throwing hands
Bobby
on
Wagner,
the sideline.
you go to the nice farm upstate.
You know.
Upstate.
I would like to
Oh.
see Bobby Wagner come back in a coaching
Yeah, he could.
capability.
Or
could.
play backup maybe.
Or
Yeah.
be
We'll
like a
see.
scout or something.
Yeah.
I mean, someone will probably sign and be like, "We need someone to fill this."
The
out."
Cowboys.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that.
Although we'll talk about their defense. They did a lot to improve it.
They did a lot to improve as well. But moving on to the Saints, another interesting pick here, Jordan Tyson. That receiving
Receiver,
core
yeah.
is wide receiver out of Arizona State.
They needed somebody to replace Rashid.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, I was a pretty solid pick. I think wide receiver it was a pretty big need. You know, Olave always getting hurt. Really, and it just seemed like they got someone who was really productive in college. Really, the only knock on him, I'd say, has been his injury history. It's been a little tough.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think he was a great pick. I think he's going to be tough, but Panthers luckily have 2 good cornerbacks, so hopefully they
Yeah.
can stay on him.
I mean, Jordan Tyson. I mean, the biggest knock on him was like health-wise, and
Yeah.
going to the Saints that have Olave, who's also been a bit iffy with his health. I think it's a good pick if it pans out. You know, good receiver there.
Mhm.
I just think that they could have probably added more depth on defense, and yeah. So there's Julian.
Whoa,
Um,
how did he get here?
I don't know. He just
He
popped
started
up.
teleporting
Popped up
to
to
the
Now he's
floor.
gone. Now he's
Oh.
rolling off.
Goodbye.
See you, Julian.
Off he rolls
Off
like
he rolls.
the ball when it goes through.
Watch your head.
Oh,
Oh, he almost hit the camera
Okay.
there. All right, see you, bud.
bye, Julian. Yep.
But yes, moving on to the what were we talking about again? The
Jordan Tyson? Or
Jordan
what's
Tyson?
after
It's a good thing I
Tyson?
texted in my password just now.
yeah, Jordan Tyson. So after Jordan Tyson, the Browns took Spencer Fanu, or was it Fanu? Yeah, Fanu.
Yeah.
Tackle from Utah.
Protect Deshaun.
Who's
Zach
leading to be
Wilson.
QB1
Mhm.
according to the reports today?
According to reports, he might be QB1.
Todd
so
Monken, bruh. Good luck.
good luck with that.
Mhm.
Cleveland Browns, honestly, arch watch. So you know,
Arch Watch, is that what we're calling it?
I guess so.
Yeah, but I think Fano's a solid pick.
No, I think
know?
Spano's a good pick. I think establishing the line for potentially whoever's under center is good. They, I think, address some of their needs later on, but I think getting a good offensive lineman helps because last year they were just terrible
Yeah.
in pass blocking, and it showed. Even like, well, I will consider Shador Sanders not the long-term answer. I still say that the line is still not that good. So we'll see how that goes for Cleveland. But moving on to the 10th overall pick, another tackle here. Was it Francis? Was it
Go ahead, say the name.
Mugaga?
Oh,
Gaga.
botched it.
But
Mugaya?
the interesting thing with him is today I read that they're going to play him at left guard.
Oh boy.
And we've seen that happen before with
Yeah.
tackles getting taken in the first round. Is the ownership has an idea of where they want him and where they think they can fit.
just
We saw that
early.
with Josh Conley Jr. and he
True.
turned out, he had a rough starting 2 games, and
Yeah.
then he walked the hell in and he was great.
It just felt a little early for me to take Proctor, especially if you're going to play him at guard.
Well-
It feels like you could have maybe traded down a little more.
Well, was it Francis? I mean Francis, for the Giants. I mean, it could work out for them.
Francis, yeah, he could be solid too. I mean, the tackle run was just pretty. absurd at the bit. Like a lot of all the teams are like, oh wait, offensive linemen are going quick. Let me get mine.
Yeah, well, you gotta protect the quarterback.
Yeah, they
you know?
do. It's an important position.
It's an important position. Though, are the Giants gonna regret passing down on Caleb Downs to the
Ooh.
Cowboys?
Them boys got themselves a
If-
weapon.
And honestly, I don't even think he's that big of a weapon. He's a great safety, but that debilitating ACL injury is really like.
I ain't worried about that until it actually hits. You know.
Yeah, you got-
like.
Yeah,
Well, it's hard to project injuries. You know.
I mean, all he need,
yeah.
I mean, this is what we keep Wagner around for. Is we have Wagner just tackle him, and he's a great
No,
tackler,
go for-
and
Well, I mean, well,
Mr. Karate Kid being like sweep the
sweep the leg, Bobby, sweep the leg.
I guess yeah. If
But no, I mean, he's a great safety.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that he has to play on a terrible defense.
terrible defense.
They went all defense kind of in
They-
the, in
I
the
mean,
first
yeah,
round,
but
you
I mean,
know,
it
just
starts
trying
with
to
the
upgrade.
defensive coordinator.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they do. But
That's-
I hope his knee is less of like a Todd Gurley case where it's
Yeah.
gonna just kill him in a
Snap,
few years,
yeah.
and more of like.
I hope he gets
He
some
could
good.
be
He's a
bad.
great
Yeah.
prospect.
He's a
and-
Yeah.
he's a great player.
And Dallas is probably thrilled they got him where they
Yeah.
did.
They did, yeah. He was
think they got a
falling
steal.
in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that a lot of these other teams. I thought the Saints would see that and probably take a chance on them, or even Cleveland to add to that defense, or even the Giants. But it happens.
Yeah.
But next up is Proctor. We're just going to go by these quickly. For Proctor, I thought good move.
Overdraft, in my opinion, I thought it was a reach.
You thought it was a bit of a reach?
I thought it was a bit
Who
of a
took him?
reach.
The
The
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
The Dolphins kind of need that line, I would say.
Yeah, bro, they need receivers.
Yeah, I know, but they're playing him at guard, so I'm like,
Yeah.
a left guard at that high? I don't know. And they have a lot of needs. Like, who is Malik Willis throwing to?
Mhm. That's
You
a
know?
good question. No, who is he going to throw to?
Yeah.
They paid him all that money?
Hey, Tyreek Hill is still a free agent.
Yep,
so-
he ain't,
Yeah,
but
but
he,
they
I
cut
don't
him.
think he's coming back.
I don't think he's coming
They
back to
cut him.
Miami. They
Yeah.
got him.
But, yeah, that was an interesting cut.
When we talk about reach here, let's talk about the shock of the draft night.
Mm.
Ty Simpson
Oh.
going to the,
Oh my lord!
the Los
Jeez.
Angeles Rams.
Oh my gosh! Oh, oh my gosh, bro! No way!
What are they doing? What?
Tyson.
A ram?
I mean, not a bad player, but like
What about
13th.
my goat, Matthew Stafford?
I thought he said he was coming back.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a textbook case of what happens when the ownership and the coaching are not on the same page.
Nope, we
Or
don't.
th- Well, I think the GM and coaching might not
I was
have
going
been
to say,
on the
GM
same
wasn't on
page.
there. Like, Sean McVay looked angry.
he
but
was mad.
Les is like a friend of Ty Simpson's family, and he like reassured him. He's like, "You'll go in the first round. You should enter the draft." So part of me is like, is he in the draft? He's like, "Well, I did promise him he would go in the
Yeah.
first round. I guess I got to take him here."
Yeah.
But really, it's just interesting that like this is the guy who you want to be the heir apparent to Matthew
Matt
Stafford.
At least this
I mean,
year.
he's not a bad quarterback, and if he sits behind Matthew Stafford, it will give him a time to develop.
He's
I just
not
think
the
he's
most like physical traitsy QB,
I know, but
and I
then-
thought
Yeah.
that's like if you're taking someone to develop, you'd want someone with a bit more of an arm.
I just
Yeah.
don't know if the Rams are going to be able to get somebody like that.
That's true. Maybe they're figuring they'll pick like in the 30s this year. 'Cause
I
they did
imagine
use that
so.
Falcons pick.
Yeah. I
on
just
it.
think they could have probably used the pick on to contend rather than just
They could have taken Lemon there, gotten a new weapon for
Yeah.
Stafford.
I think
some
that's
meat.
really what they should have done. They
Yeah.
needed a weapon. I
Yeah.
mean, they got Puka and they got Devontae, and Devontae's been
He's
kind
a
of
little old,
inconsistent
but
with
we'll
injuries.
we'll have to see if the Rams, at the end of this season, if they're looking back like, wow, maybe we could have used that first on someone. who could
if they
help us
fall
a little
short,
more.
that's the biggest
Yeah,
thing because
that'll
this
be the big
is
question.
this is a Super Bowl year for the Rams. They
Yeah.
got to make it.
It's got to
Yeah.
pay off.
Stafford's probably last year. So.
Maybe he's trying to get a contract extension right now.
Yeah,
I
so we'll
don't
see
know
how
if
far
it's
that
happening.
goes.
Yeah.
But the Ravens, with the 14th pick, took Loney from the Lions.
Yeah.
So-
and they needed an offensive
They
line
needed
help.
offensive
they
line.
lost Linderbaum.
They need a lot of
Yeah.
things.
Solid pick.
Yeah, so I'll pick there. I projected them to go there or to get that guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a Ravens move to get
Good
some offensive linemen to help protect Lamar. They're going to have to work on the pass rush. We'll see how this draft works out for them if that pass rush does get better because that was their biggest weakness last year was the pass rush. And yeah, in order for them to keep being contenders, they're going to have to get that fixed. So
Yeah.
we'll see there. But guard, solid pickup. Speaking of pass rush here, I know we didn't really like this pick for not the reason because we thought it was bad, but because it went to the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Ruben Bain fell to the Buccaneers. Honestly, really sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good pick. He's a Miami guy, so he's staying in Florida, and the Bucks' edge room was pretty depleted. I think last year they signed like Hassan Reddick and some other people.
Yeah.
Yikers, yeah.
So now you get a young, cost-controlled player who could develop into a really good edge rusher, but the arm length is a question because that's probably why he fell so far.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I think the arm length there, but still a monster. We'll see what he can do with the Buccaneers pass rush. That seems to be decent-ish every year. I think this year we might see an improvement. However, I'm not a big fan of the Bucks going into this season in general, not even just being biased. I'm not really sold on them being a contender. Maybe a contender for the division, but not a contender in general for the conference. So we'll see how that goes. Another pick that I'm mad at, I think it's a waste. Kenyan Shanique going to the New York Jets. I'm very upset.
There's a lot of wasted potential going to the Jets
Yeah,
this
I
draft.
know.
I mean,
and-
good luck to him and Omar Cooper, who are going to be having Geno Smith throw them the ball and they'll be getting a
Or even Russell Wilson. I've heard
Or
reports
Cade
about
Klubnik, yeah.
Cade Klubnik
Yeah,
too.
I told Leo that Russell Wilson was on his way. He's like, no.
Moonball Wilson.
Yeah.
Southern Zach Wilson going to the Jets as well.
Southern
Yeah.
Zach Wilson.
That's
Yeah,
Cade
Cade
Klubnik.
Klubnik.
Man, jump off a bridge. He's great.
You're a big Cade Klubnik
I'm a
fan?
Clemson fan.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He
I
was
mean,
He's a
mid.
good quarterback.
He's
Seemed
mid.
a little
Yeah, we'll see what he
inconsistent
does
this
with the
year.
Jets.
He might have a chance to play.
He
I
might
think
have a
he
chance.
wakes
I
it
think
up.
he should get a chance to play. I
Yeah.
think, Geno and Russ and all them, they had their time. Unks,
Okay.
go lie down for nap
Okay.
time. Let old Cade throw the ball around.
Okay, so
Okay.
Jacob, big Cade Klubnik guy.
I thought that he should have been taken sooner.
Okay, that's your opinion there. Okay, well, yeah, we
Who?
asked. I
Yeah.
did.
No. Cares? Nobody.
Yeah,
What do
no
you
one
mean?
cares
You
about
mean
Cade
our
Klubnik.
audience doesn't
Anyway,
care
let's
about
move
our
on
show?
to the next pick.
Yeah.
We think Shadiq is a good pick, but
Yeah.
on a bad
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Speaking of Clemson here, Blake Miller going to the Lions.
Mm.
Need some offensive line
I
help.
agree with this one.
Yeah, good pick.
I think the Lions are going to be a lot more scary now that they have like somebody to create gaps for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
And Gibbs being the main focal point of the offense should
And it-
help. And I think them getting some linemen should help gain holes because I think the biggest issue, especially the last half of the year, was their run game. They had the tandem of Sonic and Knuckles. Now they just have Gibbs.
Yeah.
Even then, it wasn't working at the end. I think a lot of that was
their
the
O
line.
line was running on
But
secondary.
the interesting thing with this is that they're going to start Blake at right tackle and move Sewell to left tackle. So
It'll be interesting.
it'll be interesting to see how he handles being flipped over the other side of the line. He's a great player, but we'll have to see.
Great player indeed. Then going to Caleb Banks here. A lot of Vikings fans are not happy about this one. D tackle out of Florida with an 18th overall pick.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean,
mad at it
It
though.
just seemed like it's a big risk, of a pick. Banks, he had a lot of injury concerns.
Yeah, and especially with some still being on the board, you get the
They wanted the safety. a
they
lot
wanted
of
the safety
Vikings
too.
fans.
That would have filled the
Came in.
need there. And Banks, I mean, we'll see how it pans out. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that one. I think it might be a little bit of a reach, but you never know. You never know. Then moving on to our pick, Owen, the Panthers selecting Monroe Freeling.
Protect Bryce.
Absolutely.
That's a dang good dog right there.
Yeah,
man.
he's a dog on the
He's a
line.
dog. He's a massive.
He
too.
is.
Yeah, he's like,
Six.
God.
Good luck. Bryce Young gonna have to
He's gonna have to like
back
get a
up a little
step
bit to
stool.
see
get
over him.
him.
But
I mean,
But I
I mean, he's not. Luckily, he's not the center, but
Yeah.
still.
God,
I mean, if we were talking about
big.
being afraid of Bane,
Yeah.
we got reinforcement here.
and I like that they have the tackle from Green Bay, Rasheed Walker, signed for a year. We
Yeah.
know Aquanu's probably done with the Panthers, unfortunately, just with that injury and this pick. But I think it'll be good to have him sit behind him for a year as he develops, or at least some time to get more used to the NFL game. And then when that contract expires, he can step right up into the starting role next year.
Yeah.
So I was pretty happy with that pick. Monroe was a beast in the SEC, and that's a hard division to play in. So
Absolutely.
I see him handling the NFL pretty well.
I agree. I think that was a solid pick. Obviously not the flashiest pick, but can't go wrong with an offensive lineman unless they really don't pan out.
Especially a physical specimen like that.
No, yeah, that's something to be excited for.
Yeah,
Speaking of, I guess Flash,
yeah.
uh,
Oh, well,
Lemon goes to the Eagles. Wide receiver AJ Brown.
No!
Sorry.
He's gonna go be a Patriot.
He's gonna be a Patriot too,
Yeah.
but
Well, I don't care about AJ Brown. He's
but
just gonna
AJ
go read a
Brown.
book on the
Yeah, I was
sideline.
gonna say.
I don't need the Eagles getting any more weapons. Well, granted, Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball worth the same
That's
as
why
life,
I didn't. That's why I didn't
so-
take him in fantasy because I'm like, ultimately, would he be the number one
Yeah.
option?
Yeah.
You know, how are we gonna get the touchdowns when they just
Yeah,
gobble away
wasted
at the goal
potential.
line?
Maybe they'll trade him
Yeah.
back to us.
Maybe.
You know, we
but
gave them Jahan Dotson.
Yeah.
I just thought this was a funny pick, especially the fact that the Steelers were on the line with him.
Oh
and
my
got
goodness,
jumped.
yeah, that was a
It's
crazy
ridiculous.
story about him being on call with the Steelers, but the Eagles selected him.
Yeah.
So
But I think that was a good pick for the Eagles.
I will say it doesn't help that he also is questionable character issues, is what I've heard.
He'll fit right in on the Eagles.
Like I said, he's perfect for the Eagles. Unfortunately, doesn't tend to
Bye,
end well.
Eagles, bye.
But yeah, I mean, it works out. I think they're getting a solid receiver here to replace AJ Brown, who is basically out the door at this point.
Send him to
Yeah.
Washington.
Well, they're gonna
We'll
press him
treat
to the
him right.
Patriots.
Yeah, well, we'll treat him better at Washington.
No,
You know, and when we think about the draft, you know, it's all about throwing those darts and hopefully
panning
you'll see
out.
payoff.
It's a crapshoot. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the biggest
Yeah.
thing here.
Especially in the undrafted pool, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, some interesting players there as well, like former Western Carolina Catamount Desmond Reed, former Pitt.
Who is now
Panther.
signed to the Bills, by the
Bills,
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So hopefully
yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Hopefully he
there.
makes that,
Yeah.
that starting roster.
And we would be remiss if we did not mention Skylar
Skylar
Bell
Bell
from
from
125th
Fifth round.
overall.
Or
pick.
government
UConn,
mandated
fourth round wide receiver.
UConn mention here.
Yes, our mandated director mentioned, but you know maybe he could be a baller. He was
Yeah.
drafted in the 125th pick.
Another
Um,
player that I'm really looking for is Lewis from Pitt.
Yeah.
Really good linebacker. I really wanted
Who?
him.
Wait, who is it?
He's a Pitt linebacker.
Yeah.
Where'd he
What's
go?
his name?
Kyle Lewis.
Ty Lewis?
Kyle Lewis.
Kyle Lewis.
It's Kyle Lewis.
Where'd he go?
Where'd he
Pitt.
go?
Oh, he
No,
went
but
to.
where'd he go to the NFL?
Yeah.
Where did he go? He went.
You don't even know.
Oh.
I think he might have went to like the Eagles or something.
To the Bills?
To the Eagles.
No, they said to the Bills.
Oh,
Oh.
that's not the right player. No,
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 not
no,
the
no,
wrong
no,
player.
no.
That was Skyler.
that was
But,
Kyle.
We have the
all right.
voice of God.
Kyle
speaking to
Lewis
us on our
is on
prompter.
the Miami Dolphins.
Nah, I see he's wasted.
Yeah.
Oh, UConn.
in the fourth
okay.
round. Yeah, but it was any like sleeper players y'all had in this draft?
Antonio Williams.
Yeah.
Tell you what,
He is a great receiver when he's healthy.
Mhm.
Granted, when he's healthy, but I think that he's a great route runner.
Yeah.
Incredible hands. He drops a couple of balls, but he's fast. He's
Mm-hmm.
really fast. And I think that was a great pick by Adam Peters and Dan Quinn.
I thought one interesting. I guess we'll go to
Yeah.
the end of the draft, and we'll move up to talk the interesting. I thought another one was Price, Jordan Price.
That was interesting.
for Notre Dame going to the Seahawks at the end of the first. And they need a running back. Kenneth Walker's gone. We'll see kind of how they adjust to a new run game, but interesting, but made sense.
Yeah, it's just interesting that the backup to Love is so good that they're like, yeah, we'll spend the first round. But I think it's also just because it's the end of the first round. You want to make sure you have a running back on roster,
Mhm.
and that contract is going to guarantee him for 5 years if he's good. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one I think is Dylan Thiemann
Mm.
going to the Bears, safety, solid safety.
Man, he's
Yeah,
gonna
we
die
wanted
on the
him to.
Bears.
I mean, the Bears were good
The,
last
the Bears
year.
are good. We'll see what happens in year 2 of Johnson, but
Iceman.
Mhm.
but-
year 2 of Johnson.
solid pickup here. Like it.
I like that too. I wanted him before we took Freeling.
Yeah. Going in, I guess we'll just talk about the Panthers pick to wrap up some of this.
Mhm.
Talk about some of the Panthers and Commanders
What about
pick.
the Washington picks?
Well, I got
We have
some
2
picks.
minutes. We got to wrap this up.
We'll go here, but I think getting a nose tackle round 2, Lee Hunter, pretty solid for the
Yeah,
Panthers
he's a
there.
big man,
Big
big
man.
meat man
Big lead,
on the
man.
defensive line. Him and Derek Brown.
And then needing some speed here, they go. Was it Chris? Was it Barzell? Basil?
Brazel.
Brazel? Chris Brazel, wide receiver from Tennessee. He's got the speed, and 6'4", another tall.
Xavier Leggett, watch out!
Yeah,
Watch out for
he-
that
his
spot,
brother.
brother.
His time.
You might want to start making some burgers.
Flipping
You-
burgers.
Might
yeah.
get
You
some
don't like
roadkill.
Like Leggett?
Not the raccoon burgers.
You might
no.
get some roadkill, man.
No.
But no, I thought the Panthers had a solid. They got Sam Hayek center. They got
Yeah,
some
we
more
need a
line
center, we
depth.
got a safety.
Safety
pretty
from
good
Penn
draft
State. You know,
overall.
like that, except
Yeah.
for where he went to college at. But
Yeah.
can't be mad at there.
What about who did the Commanders take in the second?
Well,
you didn't have.
we
as
didn't
many
have a
picks.
second round
Yeah.
pick, but what we did, we picking up Antonio Williams, another edge rusher, and then we picked up Katron from Notre Dame.
Well, Antonio Williams, wide receiver. Antonio Williams.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then adding some running back room depth, and then we picked up Matt Glovin at center, who why he fell as far as he did.
6 round. I mean, that could be anything.
But he's huge, and we needed that depth at safety and
Both our
or
teams just
center
drafted
at the
big
offense.
men.
So we just big man picks.
It's
I
a
like
big man
big man
time now.
drafts.
Yeah.
But
As Shaquille O'Neal once said, feed it to the big man.
feed it to the big man, you know. But I'm very happy with the way Washington drafted, and obviously we picked up a bunch of free agents, rounding out, you know, the draft in general, picking up the quarterback from Rutgers, Athan.
Also-
I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last
Also,
name.
shout out to our buddy
Max
Max.
Poku Kankam,
Yeah.
Moses Poku Kankam, getting committed
Committed
to
to-
Rutgers.
Committed to Rutgers
as a
early, yeah.
linebacker, which is awesome.
Impressive.
So shout out to him, yeah.
Yeah.
And after watching some of his film, I would assume that he would definitely get a lot of playing time over there.
Absolutely. We're going to see how he turns out. We're
And
very
we'll see
excited.
how all these draft classes.
Yeah.
turn out.
Absolutely. But we also want to say Ryan Creel, he got drafted.
Ryan
did?
Creel got
Wow.
He
drafted.
did,
Where'd he
yes.
go?
You wouldn't believe it. He went to the Vikings.
He went to the
Wow.
Vikings.
He went to the Vikings right here.
Close
Right here. Here's the image of him.
Oh.
You know, playing ball for the Vikings. You
Look
know,
at-
he's
look-
in training camp already.
He's on training camp. Look at him
Watch
with
out,
Roger
Kyler.
Goodell right now. Look at him.
Look
What
at that.
What position does he play?
Obviously wide receiver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously.
You
But
know,
Well, Kyler Murray, he's going to be throwing all top to Ryan.
there you
Creel.
go. Ryan Creel, you know.
Ryan
Justin
Creel
Jefferson, watch out.
Watch out. That's your competition right
That's
there.
your competition. And, you know, he got drafted before Pavia. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suck it, Diego.
so there you go. But
Diego didn't even get drafted. He just
Yeah,
got signed.
he got signed. We'll see where he goes,
He's not
too.
going to win that quarterback job.
He's competing against Lamar.
No, he won't be. But that will do it for today's episode of We Talk Sports. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. We're almost to the end. We got one more
One more.
episode. It'll be a send-off episode, so it won't be a usual episode, but it'll be a fun episode.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it'll be an emotional one because these guys are going to be retiring
I can't even talk about it.
You can't talk
their
about
couch.
it yet.
No! But thank you guys so much for watching. And as always,
Go
Cats.
Cats.